My name is Cherise. Welcome to Reese TV. Glad that you're here. And welcome to another episode of Makeup News where I do my makeup as I give the news. So let's make up as I give the news. So I am so sorry for missing you last week. As I mentioned, I had some technical difficulties. But honestly, it just ended up to be like a blessing in disguise because I kind of wanted to revisit some of the subjects that I mentioned in those videos and give a little bit more context or say them a little bit differently. And I get that chance. So, yay. But it really did suck. Like I had 2 videos on the docket ready to be edited and both of them were just horrible sounding. Any case, so let's get on to making up. So I saw this thing in this Vogue magazine where all the contents of this person's bag was just thrown out. And I'm like, that is totally relatable. And I'm going to do it right now because I'm tired of just like trying to search through all of my makeup, trying to find the exact makeup that I'm looking for. So yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm doing this with some reserve. Okay. That was actually strangely satisfying. So let's just go ahead and talk about some bad news. Ripping off the Band-Aid. Just found out that Richard Lewis died. For those who didn't know, Richard Lewis is Prince John in Robin Hood Men in Tights. That is one of my childhood banger movies. And it sucks to find out that he is no longer with us. So R.I.P. Prince John. My condolences for his family and friends. In other bad news is referring to the Super Bowl rally shootings. From what I can gather, 21 people, 21 persons, 21 people, 21 persons. There were 21 people. There were 21 persons. I like persons. There were 21 persons who were shot and 1 person did not survive. The shooters were 2 juveniles. And so because both of the shooters are under 17, their names were not released. Because they are under 18, they do not get the death penalty. I'm not really a proponent of death penalty anyway, but I understand people who are for the death penalty, especially in situations like this. It's almost like an eye for an eye type of thing. Like 1 person died because of 2 people having some kind of disagreement. Like that's basically what it boiled down to. It's like, what? Really? They just couldn't agree, and they decided that the best way to figure it out was to go at each other with guns. Like, really? Like, this is where there needs to be more of a conversation about guns. I know, this is such a conversation that we have almost like every 6 months. Or not even every 6 months. I think we have this conversation like every 3 months about what to do about guns. And then we can never agree, at least in the United States, we can never agree. And then it goes on. I know the conversation goes on for about 3 months. And then it's gone. And then something else happens. So I would say 6 months. Yeah. 6 months at least. It happens and we're talking about it for 3 months, talking about, hey, we need to restrict guns. This is why. And people who are against the restriction of guns are always like, oh, they're trying to take away our guns. Like, no, we're trying to make sure that people live. That's the goal. That's why we are having this conversation. We don't want people to die. Like, why is it that your guns are more important than people's lives? I don't understand why we're constantly having this conversation about whether or not we need guns in our lives. Because somehow, in some way, guns get in the wrong hands, and now we have to have this conversation. And there is that conversation of, well, a gun in the right hands is good. Like, what if there were people who had guns, good people who had guns at the rally? Now, of course, the rally is supposed to have police officers there, and the police officers are supposed to have guns. So, what if good people had guns at the rally, which they did? They're police officers. They had guns at the rally. And so I guess the conversation would be, well, what if more good people had guns? Like people who aren't police officers. What if they had guns? What would have happened? Would so many people have gotten injured? And by the way, most of those people were children. But the thing is, it could have been bigger, right? Like a lot of people caught in the crosshairs because now it's not just 2 people and police officers who have guns. Now it's 50 people, over exaggerating. But there will be a lot of people who have guns and are shooting. Now, I have not shot a gun, so I'm just going on my own imagination. The closest thing I've gotten to actually shooting a gun is at laser tag. And I know how things go in laser tag. Not to make light of this whole situation, please excuse me about laughing, because I'm not laughing about the shooting. I'm laughing at the thought of what could have happened, like how ridiculous it is. What could have happened if more people had a gun, if it's anything like laser tag. So laser tag, there are people who are just shooting. Like you get caught in the crosshairs, you get hit by your own teammate because you just happen to be running in a particular direction. Let's say that more people have guns. People who you didn't mean to get hit are going to get hit. Now, maybe it might set people to rethink bringing out guns. Like, oh my goodness, if I bring out a gun, then now everybody is going to look at me. Now everybody is going to bring out their gun. Maybe that is a thought process, but will that actually happen? We're just living in a world of hypotheticals, right? At that point, because what we actually have seen is that guns bad. Now, of course, there's that typical, well, guns aren't bad because, hey, they are tools. Yes, they are. I agree. They're just tools. But how are they used? They are used to harm or kill something. That is their function. It's not like a wrench or a screwdriver, right? A wrench or a screwdriver is not meant to harm or kill anybody, though you probably can do it. Anything in anybody's hands can be used to harm or kill someone. It can be, but that is not their primary function. That is the difference. The primary function of a gun is to harm or kill. There's no, hey, let's use this gun to put up my IKEA furniture. There is nothing about a gun that is meant for anything else but harm. And yet we have the conversation about, well, it's within our rights to have a gun. We need a gun just in case the government wants to take over. Okay, so what government are you talking about? Like, I can't get any gun owner to agree what the militia is, because some gun owners mention that the militia is the state guard. If that is true, then that means that no civilian needs to have a gun. Now, there are people who say, no, that's not true. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. That is eczema. That is what I get every time I come close to peanuts, almonds, or flaxseed. So yesterday I was on a commercial set and I told the production company about my allergies before we started filming. And, well, they didn't listen. So a lot of people tend to think that allergies are literally just based on ingesting. Food allergies are just based in ingesting it. They don't think of ingestion as anything more than eating. They don't. But You have types of allergies like hay fever, right? You go outside and people have allergies to outdoor stuff like pollen. Okay, you smell that stuff. The allergens get into your nose or whatever receptive area, and they cause you to have an allergic reaction. However, when it comes to food allergies, everybody is surprised Pikachu face when I start to have an allergic reaction, even though I tell them up front that I'm allergic to peanuts, almonds, and flaxseed. I can't be in the area. I have actual airborne allergies to these things. I will have an allergic reaction to these 3 things. They don't get it. It doesn't register until they see it happen. And this happens even with friends and family. Like, it's so easy to forget, and I've just learned to just deal with it to a degree. Yes, I know I shouldn't just deal with it, but there are so many people around me, like especially my family. They don't see me often. They're not around me often. So they go about life with almonds and peanuts. It's even in their hair products. People don't think about that. Hot oil 6. I keep on calling it hot oil 6, but I know that all of my Black people will know what I'm talking about. It's this golden oil that you can get basically anywhere, and it feels so good to the hair. It does. And it smells good. Now, why do I know this? I mean, I can still smell it. It smells great. But my allergies weren't always this severe. My allergies were just this, but it was on my face. So thank God it's not on my face, because acting is going to be so weird. And now modeling is going to be so weird, trying to navigate with my allergies. But that's what happened. I used to just break out in eczema patches. And my father, he used to take me straight to the dermatologist every time. And so here, peanut butter and jelly, that was my jam. And now we interrupt this message to do my eyes. One moment. And we're back. Okay, and so things like hot oil 6, people would have it in their hair. It's hard to fight it. It really is. Fructis, oh my goodness. They have almond oil in some of their products. But these are things that people don't really think of when their friend, family member, coworker, whatever, says, I am allergic. I used to work in a facility where they had Reese's peanut butter cups in the vending machine, and it seemed like everybody ate the Reese's cups. Like, the Reese's cups were usually gone within the first day or 2, which was very ironic because Reese is my nickname. Oh, but what I was saying about my allergies growing up, they just presented themselves as eczema. And my father used to take me to the dermatologist every time. I mean, we just didn't know. We just didn't. I used to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches like all the time. That was my jam. Peanut butter and jelly with milk. That was my jam. And I would have eczema patches and nobody could tell me why. They gave me medication, but nobody could tell me. It wasn't until I started having airborne allergies that I found out that eczema is actually an allergic reaction. So every time that somebody says, oh, I have eczema and I don't know why, I'm like, have you looked at your food? Are you allergic to anything? I mean, most cases they'll say no, that they're not allergic to anything. Have you gone to a doctor to see what you're allergic to, if you might be allergic to something? No. Because this is not what is taught. People are so uneducated about allergies. And even doctors, they're still fighting among themselves as to whether or not somebody can have airborne allergies to peanuts and almonds. Like, what? The proof is in the person who is having the allergic reaction. I had one doctor who said that it was just all in my mind, even though he noticed that I was having an asthma attack. He was like, "You're having an asthma attack. Do you have anything for it? Have you had asthma attack before?" It's like, "No." Well, technically, yes, I have, because that's a part of an allergic reaction. But he refused to recognize my asthma attack as an allergic reaction to peanut products. Ugh. Does this get on my nerves? Yes, it does. And funny enough, there is a link to both the shooting and peanut products, because I know people who say, well, peanut products are just as American as guns. I can't fight these people. I have to figure out some way of living around these people, because these people refuse. Americans refuse to see the problem in guns, and they fail to see the problem in peanut products. Did you know that people who have food allergies, most of them are allergic to peanut products? Like, I understand having the almond products, but most people who have food allergies also have allergies to peanuts, and peanuts are the most severe reaction. Why do you have it in your food? Why do these restaurant chains have them in their food? But this is my frustration. This is my frustration when it comes to guns. Like, no place is safe. Right? Here you are planning on having this joyous occasion at a Super Bowl rally, and you get shot? Your kid gets shot? It's so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. This should have been a safe environment. It should have been. And I know that gun owners are probably going to say, well, this is something that was put on by the liberals. Can we just not make it political? I'm so tired of making everything political. Just stop it. Let's just think about people's lives here. What is best for people's lives? How can we make sure that people are able to live? Why can't we just do that? Both sides. I really can't stand both sides. Even though I'm a registered Democrat, I can't stand both sides, because both sides have this weird concept of life. And we could do so much better if we just don't politicize it. We need to think about what is best for people's lives. We need to come at it from that angle. What will improve the quality of life for these people? Instead of what will get us the votes. Instead of what will get us more money. Instead of what is less scary. I'm so sorry about my rant. So in happier news, let's go ahead and move away from not happy news. Beyonce, she announced an album and she released 2 songs. As I mentioned before, I am not a part of Beehive, and I feel like that needs to be said before I say whatever else I'm about to say. Her song, Texas Hold'em, has debuted, I believe, #1 on the Billboard. I did this backwards. And people are wondering whether or not she deserves it, because she comes with a clique of people, or she comes with a whole set of fanatics that are called the Beehive. And of course, they're going to make sure that their queen bee is #1. Of course. But does she deserve it? Because there are Black country artists who haven't gotten the recognition that she has, and they're more established. So does she deserve it? At this point, who cares? Because her songs and her announcement actually helped those other artists get more popularity. It's been good business for her to do that crossover. And just to talk about another point that is related to the subject of Beyonce's announcement and Beyonce's songs. There was a radio station that was allegedly racist. They're based in Oklahoma. They got this request saying, hey, can you please play Texas Hold'em by Beyonce? And basically they said, we don't play Beyonce because we are a country music station. They were oblivious to Beyonce's song being country, or Beyonce's announcement in crossing over to country. And this was later revealed as they found out, oh shoot, she did do a country song. She is coming out with a country album. Our apologies. Long story short, that's what they came back saying, and they put her in the rotation. I don't fault the person who responded. I feel like by his response, it sounds like he has gotten a request for Beyonce before and had to say something very similar. Like, it just seems like a cut and paste type of scenario. Like, oh, here goes another Beyonce request. We don't do Beyonce. But I do blame the owners of the radio station. They should have gotten that message out to their employees about this new album, about these new songs, so that this would not have happened, so that they would not have come across as racist. It was up to the owners to do that. It wasn't up to basically an employee. Because how do you sleep on that news? How do you? Like, this is Beyonce you're talking about. This is not just any artist. This is Beyonce. And you were ignorant to her announcement. It's up to you to keep your ear to the ground. It's up to you to tell your employees what they should be doing. So whatever hate or whatever that the employee got, they don't deserve it because they literally just didn't know. They didn't. That's not their job. And so I am completely done. And so without further ado, until next time, I will catch you later. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.